content today, which is cool. But yeah, welcome. Okay, thankfully. Sorry about being 13 minutes late. That's totally on me. I have been struggling with my internet connection and I found myself with the wrong version of Banter on my headset and I had to reinstall and everything. I was testing a new version. Anyway, crazy, nuts, sort of stuff you don't need to care about. But look at that massive Dead Zed over there. I guess that's the thing. I'm massive, so now Dead Zed's massive. Is that how this works? As you can see, some
Finally,
people have been
Shane.
playing with our new avatar system, and I think Fire Rat suggested we should
Diane's
limit how
Piper
big people can
just
make
dropped in
avatars.
from
But that
another
that seems
dimension.
kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie,
Why y'all got little
kind of
loading
bit
screens
crazy,
and
right?
shit?
Let's see how far this goes, right? You know,
Is
we
that
can
the
always wait
intro?
and introduce limits like that later. But for now, let's see what crazy things people
What y'all
create.
doing?
It's very
Y'all got an
ominous, isn't
event
it? Just
going on?
hanging
Am
there
I
in the
in an event?
sky.
What is this?
Yep.
A Barbie box? Oh, my best friend would love
Uh,
this.
and look at the Barbie box. That's great. Is it like anybody can step into it? Is that the idea, or is there an actual Barbie in it?
No,
Is this an event?
You like
Nice.
jet lags, so it looks like you're flying.
That's
Am I
funny.
Yes,
in
it's
an
an
event?
event.
My
Yes,
bad.
Dana. My bad. My bad.
Okay. Anyway, yes, this is Banter-Ama, as we call it, or AMA. Ask me anything. That's basically the idea. If you want to ask me a question, you can make your way down the beach, and in the middle there, I'll megaphone you so everybody can hear you across the multiple spaces we have with 42 people at this event, which is cool. Yeah, so yeah, make your way down. Oh, we're going to kick it off with IT Trey. Nice one.
okay.
Go ahead. Let's see if I can answer this
All right.
before I listen
So,
back.
okay. So I've been playing with the new avatar system thing. So right now, like when I upload, build and upload my avatar, it saves it to my computer. Like it's not an actual way to access
LC Dollar
multiple
has logged into
avatars
the
within
mainframe.
Banter, or it
Gotcha.
has to be from the computer.
Okay, so yeah, we are working on multiple avatar slots, and to be able to add that, it's not in yet, unfortunately.
Okay.
This new avatar system actually came sooner than we expected, mainly because of all the problems
Um.
we've been having with Ready Player Me recently. We decided to accelerate part of this work in order to
Okay.
rectify some of that. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Multiple avatar slots are coming in future.
Okay.
But for
Okay.
right now, there is kind of a way that you can jerry rig it together. I put a
Hmm.
I put a script in the Avatar Makers channel, right, for anybody who's interested, that allows
Okay.
you to
Okay.
create avatar worlds. So in theory, you
Oh,
could.
awesome.
That's actually why you can export instead of uploading, right? You could just save them to
Yeah.
your PC and you can create your own avatar worlds. That works at the
Yeah.
minute. If anyone wants to
Okay.
do that, feel free. I showed some people at the Space Makers event last night, the Avatar Gallery, little place that we're working on, which is kind of that. Um, but yeah, happy to help anybody who wants to try and experiment with that, help you get started. But it's fairly simple. If you're familiar with the old SDK, you're probably gonna
Okay.
pick it
What
up
is
right
that
away.
link again?
It's in the Avatar Makers channel. Maybe I'll find it and pin it. It
Okay.
was just a script
Okay.
I threw in there called Change Avatar, and it works
Okay.
with a trigger
Okay.
event or a player trigger event, or you can use it with a button potentially. Uh, yeah,
Okay. All right. Thank
Restless
you.
Link just stumbled into our virtual realm. Someone hold their hand, they look lost.
nice. Oh,
7777
Ravioli's
just
tiny.
stumbled into our virtual realm.
That's cool.
Someone hold their hand, they look lost.
You made like a game or something that like switches people to a certain avatar.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. There is, when you try to select the avatar, it pops up with a dialogue that says, "Are you sure you want to use that avatar?" So the person does get to choose. They don't have to. Yeah, they don't have to do it. But yeah, it could absolutely probably execute that as soon as the space loads and pop up and immediately want to change your avatar. Hey, Diane, how are you
Hi.
doing?
Good. Hello again. So I have a question. I noticed that with this new iteration with us being able to like customize, switch up the avatar thing, we don't have the glowing orbs around us anymore. Is that gonna come
Yes,
back? The glowing
yes, it
auras?
will.
Because I'm like,
It
who's
absolutely will.
talking? Whose lips? I can't.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
no, yeah, yeah, it's definitely coming back. That was a that was a mishap on my side. Unfortunately, we were trying to make sure that we still had support for the old avatar system with Ready Player Me plus the new one, and we kind of left something out there. But don't worry, we're going to get that fixed pretty soon. So yeah, hang tight for some hotfix updates, maybe later this week. That will hopefully fix that and a few other small things. Hey, LCS.
Hello,
What
how
can
you
I do
doing
you
today?
for? I'm doing great.
Pretty good. I'm here in Illinois. When I'm gonna be able to see my avatar?
You should already be able to see it. Maybe just try
I
and
still look like a
change.
robot. I see all you guys, but I still look like a robot.
Gotcha. You may need to just change your avatar. The
Okay.
difficulty with that is that yeah, right now we have a test world where it's like VR chat. It's an avatar world. You can select one there, and that can work. But unfortunately, the Ready Player Me method is still limited in Illinois. They haven't figured out that problem. We've just figured out a workaround, right? So that's why you can see mine and everybody else's avatar. But to set your own avatar, especially for the first time, you need
Uh-huh.
to be able to get to either their website or to get to that special avatar world. Uh, if you have a VPN, right, and you can just open up the SideQuest website on a device, even if you've got like a VPN on your phone or something, you can set your avatar there, and then when you come in game, you'll be able to see it. So if there's any way
Okay.
you can get to their site through something like that, you'll be able to
Okay.
change your avatar.
All right. Appreciate you. Have a good
Yeah,
day.
no problem. Hey, Diane.
Yes, sorry, I have one more question. So my friend there in Illinois, if I logged into his account, I would be able to upload an avatar to his account, and then he'll be able to, because I have access to Ready Player Me, but I have to log in as him, and then I could do it that way too.
Yes, that should work. Generally, I
And he
wouldn't
should be, and he'll
recommend
be able to see.
sharing
Well,
your account
we're best
credentials, but
friends. We're best friends, so we'll
sure,
be
if you
good.
trust each other
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
much, then yeah, absolutely, that will work. You can change the avatar for them, and then when they come back, you then will be able to see your own avatar. It's only the
Okay,
selecting
perfect.
of the avatar that's still affected by
That's
the Illinois
limited.
issue for us. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, exactly.
okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, I think I'm done with my
Yeah, no
questions.
problem.
Come on, y'all. Don't be a stranger. Come ask questions.
Nice. Hey, Trey,
Hey,
what can I
so
do?
I got I know I'm thinking it's probably something to do with the new avatar system y'all working on. But when I twist my wrist, why does it like look like it's
The balloon
twisting
animal.
like yeah, tootsie or whatever. It's crazy. It's like a twist on my wrist, like
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always been like that. I mean,
it's
even
always
on
been
this
like that.
avatar, I think you can see it there, right? It's projected on the beach. Is that what you mean? How my wrists are kind of going there? Yeah, we've
No,
actually
like
always
when you
had that.
twist your wrist, like when you twist your wrist like that, like the
Like that,
wrist, like yeah, like that. Yes, yeah, mine
and then it
like
goes really thin here. Is that what you
yes,
mean? It gets
yes,
all
yes, yes,
yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
We've it's always worked like that in here. In
Oh,
fact,
it's always like that. Okay.
yeah, so basically we use a couple of different rigs for avatars in here. We use right now anyway with the new system, we use Mixamo and we use Ready Player Me rigs, right? These are probably some of the most common rigs that are out there among avatars you'll just find in the wild, right? Because you can just
Uh-huh.
upload an avatar to Mixamo's website and they'll auto rig it for you there and then in the
Yes.
website. So it's super easy to do. But all these rigs are missing what you call twist bones, which is an
Uh-huh.
extra added bone added to the forearm for exactly this purpose to allow you to be able to twist the hand. These rigs are
Oh
honestly
yeah.
reasonably basic, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, and that's possibly why they don't include something like a twist bone. Now, I know that
Uh,
Ready Player Me, in fact, have been working on a new twist bone, but there's other parts of this new rigging system that aren't that I don't know that aren't quite normal. I don't know. Maybe it's changed since the last time I saw it, but they had reoriented all the bones in the fingers, which was quite strange, and would have
okay.
made it pretty difficult to convert from the old system to the new, which would have put a lot of work on creators like yourself.
Okay.
So I mean, in a nutshell, that's what's going on with the hand. We're missing an extra bone.
Oh,
If anybody knows more
gotcha.
about this topic, feel free to correct me. Feel free to hit up those YouTube comments on the live stream if anybody's out there watching at home. And yeah, call me out. That's what
Okay.
you gotta do. Gotta call me out because honestly, I'm not the expert on this stuff. I'm just trying to speak from the limited experience that I have.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
believe that's what it is. It's an extra forearm twist bone, and right
Okay.
now, that problem that you can kind of see there in my wrist,
Yeah. Yeah.
that happens on the old system and the new. That's actually always happened. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And did y'all ever I noticed yesterday, like, did y'all ever fix the issue, like, when somebody goes on megaphone, and if I enter the world after they have the fact they don't been on megaphone, I see them as a robot.
Yes, we did actually fix that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
think
Cool.
if we haven't, let us know. If you see any examples of that,
Okay.
please let us know.
Yeah, I
There
just
was also
noticed
another
it
problem
yesterday at
where,
the Banter Late show. Yesterday,
gotcha,
I saw that issue last night.
you saw people as
So
a robot. Do you see me as a
yeah,
robot right now?
it was no. I see you as regular.
Okay, okay,
But then, like,
Hello,
I was
guys.
Discord the kitty. Yeah, I saw her as a robot. But
gotcha,
but
She was
she
megaphone.
re-entered. I saw her normal.
She was
gotcha.
megaphone.
Yeah, so that's why I was
Excuse
asking if
me.
it was fixed yet.
Gotcha. It should
Yeah, I
be.
said
It should be, but maybe we can take an eye on that.
okay.
The truth
Okay.
is, there's a lot of things in flux at the minute,
Okay. Okay.
because we've got a lot of new things we're working on. I guess internally, that's
Okay.
actually going to rework a lot of these areas.
Okay.
Most of today, in fact,
Okay.
uh, was working on some of this new stuff that's going to involve re-engineering Megaphone and how Megaphone works. In fact, part of it might kind of redefine what it means to have instances in spaces. But yeah, anyway, I'm waffling. I'll
Okay.
save that to when there isn't somebody standing there
Okay.
that wants to ask a
Okay.
question.
Okay.
uh,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
thanks, Trey.
Mhm.
Hey, Discord Kitty, you got a question?
No, I just wanted to pop onto what Trey was saying, actually. Just in regards to the late show last night, I did see the
Yes,
bug when we megaphoned Waffleman at first. He was duplicated and his audio was coming out twice. And then I'm
gotcha.
in the headset for the show, but I'm in F7 on my PC recording. And I noticed after we reloaded the room, which is probably when Trey saw me as a robot, I saw myself in there now twice. Once where I was standing when the room was reloaded, and then the actual me that wasn't frozen and was moving around.
Gotcha. Well, look, this is
Mm.
convenient that this is recorded on the stream, right? So we can check back on this. But the best thing to do when these kind of issues happen is to try to document them, right? And the closer it is
Yes.
to the time that it happens, the better, because that allows us to correlate that with the logs, the server logs, any logs that have been uploaded by users at the time, and be able to try and piece it all together, right? Like a bit of an investigation. I mean, I would say, you know, kind of like what I said to Trey as well. Right now, a lot of this stuff might radically change how it works overall in the coming weeks. So it might be that uh, we end up sort of removing a lot of this, and when we do, resolving a lot of these underlying issues. But as it stands, I think the biggest challenge for us is that one that you mentioned where you see the person megaphoned twice. We've tried a lot and struggled internally to be able to reproduce that. So there must be something about the conditions at the time when it happens that
Mm-hmm.
we're missing. So yeah, if you can take that info, dump it into the to any of
Yes,
the
I
channels,
will.
bugs,
Absolutely.
ideas, or general, wherever you want. Dump the information and just say, this just happened just now, and then we can, get it as close to the time as possible and try and figure out what that is, right?
Harassment from those
That one's a,
replays.
Now,
a weird one. It seems like
yeah, for
I,
sure.
I can only count on one hand, how many times that seems to have happened in the last month.
You're
So
all
it's a
white
really
though,
tough
so you
one
might have.
to
I'll
try
give
to
you some kudos,
reproduce,
but
but
you're all white.
any information we can glean from that,
Huh?
the better.
No
Now,
Yeah,
color.
I just wanted to ask because when
I
I'm
mean,
in the
no
middle of
color.
the event, like I don't have the thought process to be like, oh, hey, I
No,
should
you definitely
upload
included
logs
in
because
your
I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. That being
Sure.
said, I haven't done anything on the headset since I left Banter last night. Would logs from that headset help still, or is it like too late?
I mean, they could. It is possible,
Okay.
especially if you
Okay.
haven't used the headset. Absolutely, your logs
Mhm.
could last for longer than 24 hours. There is a buffer there,
Okay.
but the
Okay.
logs don't fill up as much when your headset is off or on standby for that matter. So, I mean, it can't
Okay.
hurt. Always upload the
Okay.
logs.
I
If you could
will.
include rough ballpark estimate of when it might have happened
Yes, I
time-wise,
can
I
do
don't know.
that.
Maybe it's on the video. Maybe you can use that to kind of time code things. And yeah, we can try and dig through and see if we can
Okay.
find out if that's something
Thank you.
easy and please God, something we can reproduce so that we can try to fix it. Hey, Pony.
Yesterday you mentioned about using Unity 2022.3.39 F1, and
Uh-huh.
I was playing around with that today, and every time I tried to bring in my world, it just come up with an error. So, is it supported yet, or am I just doing something wrong?
So we're using it internally, but no, we haven't released any code that yet supports 2022.
Right.
I need to be clear about that. That we haven't yet updated the SDK or the builder or anything like that to support 2022. It's mostly about what we've got going on internally is tests to make sure that
Gotcha.
2022 is going to work. I mean, in effect, what we've got is hopefully for the next couple of weeks anyway, the existing 2021 build internally is going to go into somewhat of a maintenance mode where we'll try and fix bugs, right, and only bugs.
Yeah.
But that we're actually going to move internally to working on 2022 for the next 3 to 4 weeks, right? And that means anything we're building, anything we're working on that gets tested is giving us more, uh, more contact with 2022, more surface area there that we can actually
Yeah.
test to make sure that everything is working, right? But an engine upgrade is a pretty significant thing with Unity, right? Particularly, I don't know if it's the same with other engines, but with Unity, it's an absolute pain in the ass. And for us, we've probably been working on it now for about 6 months, I would say minimum. So it does take a
Yeah.
little bit of time, but I think within about 2 to 3 weeks, mostly it's centered around the new menu, right? When the new menu
Yeah.
launches, that's when we're going to have 2022 out, right? But yeah, I would say if you're working on something new, you could use 2022, but you may not be able to use the existing tools yet
Yes.
to import it into Banter, right?
Yeah. Just
But
can't test it yet. No
you
problem.
could give it a shot. You could try the
It's g-
old builder as well if you want to try that, or post the error, right? If you give us a look at the error, maybe it's something simple. I can maybe get a fix out in the
Actually,
SDK that can resolve it in the meantime. Yeah,
yeah, because 2022 has a better version of Pro Builder. Pro Builder's updated
right.
on that.
There's a
But
lot of
I'm
things like
intrigued.
that hanging over for sure for 2022. But yeah, definitely screenshot of the console in Unity as to what that error is, and that might be something that's a quick fix.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers, Pony. Hey, Vanquisher, what's the crack?
So yeah, so speaking of the late show last night, I was
Yes.
actually using F7 mode on my PC to do the recording.
Gotcha.
But I guess that has nothing to do with it. So I do notice at one point when I first joined the space, um, lot of the people were showing as Shane with the like the guest avatar. I do notice that issues like been popping up like here and there. But yesterday when I joined in, like most people were just Shane as guests. So I just wonder like what triggers that, and how to prevent it.
Would you say most people? How many people weren't?
Um, Only a few. I do have the recording, so I was in F7 flying around, so
Gotcha.
I can go back and look at it. But I
Yeah.
think there
If
were
if
about
you could
20
send me
some
that,
people, and there was more than half were Shane.
gotcha. Um, that's a tricky one. Typically, when an avatar is loading in, Shane is actually the default text on the prefab, right? So it's not me. For anybody who thinks it's me, it's not me. Whenever you see those, sometimes in the recent past, when we've been testing out stuff, you might have come across some Shane avatars in the Winter Sport Resort, maybe in here in the Crystal Lake, possibly in AFK Jail, because we've been testing some stuff out, and we use a different environment, and the two don't overlap, and that can sometimes cause that. But in essence, the problem there is typically that that user hasn't been fully identified yet on the system, and for that reason, it doesn't yet know their name or what their avatar is or any metadata related to that user at all. Now, that typically wouldn't happen, but once again, I'd love to know the rough time. So if you've got a video, a time code, if you can tell me whatever time it was in your time zone, whatever, if I can correlate that with the logs, then I can find out if something has occurred, right? I know, unrelated to Banter in general, there have been some issues related to performance scaling, but they seem to have mostly only affected the SideQuest website. But I know that internally, some of our people who are responsible for monitoring that over the weekend had to get up in the middle of the night a couple of times to go and try and rectify some issues on the fly. Now, I don't believe that may have affected it, but if I can get more information, rough time periods when this would have happened, I can probably find that out.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, but basically, as soon as I would join space afterwards, everything was fine. So it was just that initial time when I joined the space on my PC.
Gotcha. I mean, if it was that case, and maybe it was limited to you, it would suggest that it was a problem potentially on your connection. Now, that could be a problem on our server end or a problem on your client. It's hard to know where that problem originates from, right? But you know, the logs and a time code as to when it happened, those are the most useful things to be able to find out what's going wrong.
Okay, sure, yeah, I can submit those. But I do love the new Xbox controller to control the F7 mode. So thank you for adding that.
Did you check out the FOV mode in that?
Yes, I have. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Quick
That's
camera action.
Yeah.
We can do.
It's a bit crazy. We were thinking of changing the controls and maybe making the triggers make you go up and down. That might be a bit more standard to what people are used to. But right now, not the triggers, the bumpers, right? R1 and L1. But right now,
Yes,
I think
yeah, I thought about that.
Speed you up. Yeah,
because currently I have to toggle between like the A and Y in order to do like tilt and up and down, right?
Yes.
But if you could actually add like the L like the L and R for like up and down, that would be awesome.
Yes.
So another thing is regarding to the new mirror. So thank you for adding that into the SDK too.
Sure.
So I was playing around with it, but I do notice that I know even though you've mentioned it's supposed to be very performance, but when I did put it into a world, it actually tanked the frame rate quite a bit. I do have it on a trigger, so then it only activates when you walk into a room. And as soon as you walk into that room, it triggers on, and the frame rate just dropped significantly.
Sure.
So,
well,
yeah.
I should probably clarify there, right? Very performant is something of a relative term, because in the case of a stereo camera setup like this, to be able to try and create that stereo mirror effect, it's costly. On typically on Android devices, right? On Quest, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. That the frame rate was kind of affected on Quest. Yeah. I mean, it usually is relative, but it definitely depends on the space, right? And it is the same thing as most things on Quest. If you've got dynamic lighting or just lots and lots of geometry and stuff like that. I mean, it's hard to say without knowing more about which space it ended up in. But if you have any dynamic lighting, you can imagine that triples your performance cost, because you've now got 2 extra cameras having to render most of that as well. So yeah, extremely performance seems absolutely to be a relative term. I guess it depends. But in my experiments, it definitely seems like I guess what will always have to be a fairly simple world to some degree, not too complex with a mirror system like that. But maybe what you could try is reducing fidelity, right? If you can drop down the render texture size, that's going to save quite a bit on performance. yeah, like you've already done,
Yeah.
you could try to use maybe trigger colliders, layered trigger colliders, so that the quality maybe gets higher as you get closer, but the further away you get, it drops off, right? And
Okay.
yeah, there's always a few kind of optimizations you can pull off there, and yeah, generally when somebody gets really close to the mirror, then they're seeing most of the things in the space rendering through the mirror's cameras and less through their own. Sometimes that can improve things. I think I might be making that up, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I do
uh,
notice the default texture size was 4K, so that would
yes,
probably have something to do with it as well.
totally.
Um,
Yeah, absolutely, because
yeah,
that's two 4K real-time textures being rendered on those
yeah,
cameras. So that's totally something I would consider doing. And you said it was on Quest 2, or sorry, Quest 3, right?
Quest 3, yeah, was also
Yeah,
pretty laggy if it's
yeah,
activated. But
gotcha.
yeah, like you said, it could also be the space itself
Yeah,
adding up to it, and yeah. And
yeah,
also, I noticed by default, the layers were not activated for like Ready Player Me head and body. So at first, I couldn't even see my own avatar when I tried it out. So I have to like go in
gotcha.
there and activate the Ready Player Me head and body. And is that the correct way of doing it?
For now, it is right. I
Oh,
think the
okay.
reason we didn't put that into it or bake that into it just yet is because the avatar system is quite a bit in flux, as I'm sure you can tell, and it's not quite sure exactly where the dust is going to settle there, and what and how things are going to kind of work with that in the near future. So we were more eager to try and get a mirror system in that people could start to play with than we were to try to figure out a lot of that extra stuff just at this point. So yeah, I think for now it's definitely the right thing to do, and how that's
Okay.
going to change going forward, we'll just have to. Uh, at this point, we'll kind of have to wait and see. There's so many things going on at once right now.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is apparent, right? But this is really the ramp up for us really towards launch, and we're really testing some important stuff internally at the minute that should open up a lot of performance, right? And that headroom can go anywhere. That can go into more elaborate avatar features, which it already has to some degree, but can also go into more headroom for your space, more headroom for a mirror, more headroom for a browser or a video player or several video players or whatever it is that you want to do. Maybe some sparing dynamic lights, right? Because you can always do it as long as you do it sparingly enough, right? It's about using things in moderation, right? That's basically how you can get away with these kinds of things. But yeah, I mean, this is probably a good question for our Space Makers event in general, but also
Right.
a great question for just on the Discord, right? Because what you'll find is that some of our creators are just, if not more so, knowledgeable than me or even some of the people in my team around how this stuff works, right? So they'll be able to offer some insight there as well. So yeah, maybe it's worth dropping it in there and see what anybody thinks as well.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much, Shane. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. The mirror
Bonsoir,
actually was
hello.
just
Hello,
something
sir.
I slapped together. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm French. I'm very sorry for my bad English. And
That's
nice to
okay.
meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Uh, Thank you. I would like to know why there isn't a lot of French people. I'm alone. I discover
Whew,
you since 2 weeks, and I speak all my friends, my VR friends, to come here. But since 2 weeks, I don't see French people.
gotcha. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think maybe we could do better to regionalize the game, right? We could have better languages and so forth in the menu. That's actually something we've already got in the new menu that we've been working on now for quite a while. So maybe that will make things easier for people that don't speak English, that they'll be able to read and understand and navigate the menu and the
Uh,
UI system and be able to understand that, right? So that's something we can do on this side for sure.
okay.
But yeah, I mean, all I can ask is that you keep spreading the good word, right? And keep asking random people, have they let banter into their life yet? But obviously, in French, which
Okay,
I
you
don't know
make
how to say.
publicity because I think Banter is really fantastic, and I think it's not a problem of language.
Gotcha. Well, I'm all ears if you've got any ideas. We're very sort of yeah, we're very open to
Okay,
collaboration and yeah, I guess feedback in general, right, from the community. If you think there's something we could do better, especially if it can help us reach more people,
okay,
we've got a number of ideas internally, right? But always open to hear some more.
okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
If
you.
you're not already, please join our Discord, right? That's a great way to just get in touch with me pretty much anytime, right? People will quite often just come in and ping me directly in a channel, and as much as I can, I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can.
Okay, I will say them. Je leur dirai. I speak with all French people for explain to come here. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Right on.
Thank you
Thanks so much.
too. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Love her accent. Thank you.
Merci. Thank you.
Hey, Iron Wolf.
No problem. Nice to
What
Hello,
can I do you
Shane.
for?
Yeah, I haven't seen Banter on GeForce Now yet, so I'm thinking, have you done the process correctly? It's just two checkboxes, as I have understood it in the documentation.
Yep, essentially, right? There was one checkbox related to cloud saves, I believe, in one area, and then there was another checkbox related to no, that wasn't it. There was a checkbox related to GeForce Now and cloud save in one area, and then there was another section where I had to, I can't remember, but there was definitely two sections, and I definitely filled them out because I followed that thing that you sent me to a T right there and then.
Yeah.
It seemed to accept everything. I mean, maybe it just takes a couple of weeks. I'd say there's a manual review process where they actually have to fire up the game, so you can keep an eye out. Just start pointing randomly at new guests and go, "Hey, you from GeForce Now? I mean, right now, pronto. Let's get it done. Come on, get it on that." Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about the people that were also on the Mac and they wanted to play
Yes.
startup Banter, and yeah, of course, GeForce Now is a good thing to start with. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely appreciate that. Yeah, GeForce Now is definitely a priority there, but actually, native support for Mac is even more of a priority, right? GeForce Now isn't free, so it's not necessarily something that everybody has access to. Whilst it's pretty good, we have a few different plans internally to try and support a couple of different platforms more than what we currently support, right? Mobile, that's a big one for us, which will include Android pretty much out of the gate, but at some point we'll also include iOS. Like some of you have already mentioned on Discord and Pony mentioned here tonight, we're looking at an upgrade to Unity 2022, which opens up an opportunity for us to finally look at putting out a build for Apple Vision Pro, right? We were talking about the numbers just earlier tonight on that front, right? And we figured, yeah, maybe 200,000 people bought them, maybe 100, 150,000 kept them and didn't return them, and maybe, I don't know, maybe 500 to 1,000 people still use them daily or something like that. But honestly, that could be 500 to 1,000 people here in Banter. So there was a lot of hype when Vision Pro was launched and pre-launch as well around Rec Room being available on it. But I can tell you right now, it's still not available on mine. Maybe I can play it through the compatibility apps through the iPad store, but there's no actual Rec Room. So I think it's a nice opportunity for a platform like this to be able to target that. And long story short, the Unity 2022 upgrade was kind of the primary blocker to be able to actually support Vision Pro, and we've already done some work towards that. So we're definitely not starting from scratch in that regard at all. So yeah, for us anyway, those are some of the biggest platform opportunities as I kind of see them. Is Vision Pro, is mobile devices, is Mac support, native Mac support. That's also something we've done some work towards and we've already got, right? And thankfully, Unity 2022 is making this whole process a lot easier. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yay.
All of the stuff is coming. That's for sure. Hey Trey,
Hey,
what can I do
can
for
you
you?
hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. So I asked this question in the Discord, but I haven't really got any answer.
right.
Um, is Banter 101 a placeholder for something else that's coming?
No, Banter 101 is actually a planned
Yeah,
scheduled event. If you're familiar with the new onboarding space, right? You know that space you see
yeah.
the first
When
time
you
you come
come
in,
in here and
or
they so yeah.
yeah, we're working on a similar space to that, which is going to be a
Oh,
101, right? It's going to be the ongoing effort for us to be able to help new users get acclimated to this environment. And yeah, it's going to be an event where you'll be able
okay,
to, you can even go there offline when the
okay,
event isn't running and find information. So
okay,
so that's definitely an event that we've got
okay,
coming up. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
okay. And then I noticed the big old emoji up there. So, and I remember you saying that y'all was working on an
There's someone
emoji
up there.
system.
That's
That's
me,
Like,
that's gonna
Trey.
be oh,
Trey,
that's
that's
divine.
me.
oh,
That's
that's
a,
divine.
that's an avatar. You think
Oh,
this
that's
is
an
yeah, we're
avatar.
we're gonna
Oh,
do
I did not
emojis
even notice.
and they're
Yeah.
gonna
Oh,
be
I was
6 meters
like, what is
wide.
but
Thanks for
anyways,
the call out,
what is
bro.
I noticed
I
y'all was
I was
working on
wondering
that.
what that was.
I
Is that
remember you
Are you
saying y'all was
asleep?
working on that.
She looks sad.
Yeah. Well, there you
I
go,
love
It
it.
folks.
just reminded me. Yeah, that avatar. That reminded
Yeah.
me of that question
Gonna
I
ask
had.
you a question,
I
Yeah.
was
Kage.
wondering what that was.
Mm.
Yeah.
About
Well,
the
let
new.
me tell you this, right? So, emojis are
Yeah.
interesting, and I think they fall under kind of a larger bracket of an overall kind of expression system, right? The ability to use emojis, maybe
Hmm.
animation expressions, even things like face expressions, even if they're
Yes.
kind of built-in kind of face expressions. Um, but something I've been working on recently is really going to make a lot of that. Maybe everything bar the actual emojis themselves, although maybe also including those. But we're working on a new networking system which should be able to just handle anything we throw at it in terms of being able to synchronize your avatar to other
What
people,
the?
right? So it should be able to support if you had your own custom animations
Hmm.
uh, that run on your avatar. Other people would see those, for instance. If you had your own custom blend shapes, and we're actually building in support for custom blend shapes into this right now. But
Tele
those are like,
teleport yourself.
you know how my mouth
Right.
movements work and how my little
Yeah.
hat is wiggling when I talk and how some people's wings move and various different
Yeah.
things, right? So those are what we call blend shapes, and you'll be able to add custom ones of those, and other people will just see them, right? When you create them, they'll just be
Hmm.
synced automatically, right? So
Hmm.
a lot of
Okay.
a lot of this stuff, like animations and facial expressions, is going to be
Hmm.
just inherently built in to this new system that we're building, thankfully. And yeah, I'm pretty excited
Okay.
about the possibilities it will open up. I mean, the biggest ones I haven't even mentioned. The ones I'm most excited about is full body
Uh-huh.
tracking, right? That's going to be a
Oh
real big one.
wow.
Full body tracking,
Yay.
and
Oh.
also finger tracking, right? Because obviously there's a number of devices now
Yay.
that can support
It's awesome.
finger tracking. So those are two
Oh
things
yeah,
that will
that is
just
cool.
work with this new system, right? And right now, as we speak, right up until the moment I was briefly late when I tried to get into the event at first, we're sitting there crunching in the background right now, doing crazy scale tests to try and understand what is the art of the possible and how we can build an infrastructure that can support people being able to stream all of this information, right? And one thing, let me just continue to waffle if you don't mind hanging on there for a second, Discord
Yes.
Kitty. But one thing about this system that we're exploring right now, and it's looking like it should be possible, is the ability uh, to basically have a system where instead of having different instances, different groups of
I
people in
don't know
each
what
instance,
happened.
that you'd actually be able to uh, how do I describe this? It's kind of like a dynamic instance where I would only connect to the 30 people that are within a certain range of me. And if I walk over here, I disconnect from that group and I connect to another group. Now that might seem like a load of technical jargon or whatever the hell it means, nothing. But the truth of what that means is that it might open up the potential for a massive scale space, right? We're talking about an open world space where you could have much more than what we're talking about right now in terms of 30 people per space. It could be hundreds, it could be thousands of people per space. It could even be tens of thousands of people in a space. That part we haven't fully worked out yet, and that's something we're working on literally as we speak, is to find out what the limits of such a system would be. But it would effectively mean that each and every one of us are like a walking dynamic instance. And as we move through a space, we would literally connect to different people and disconnect from people who are further away from us. And that's super exciting, right? You can imagine that could open up virtual reality concerts of massive scales, festivals, conferences, all sorts of crazy stuff. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself right now, right? Because we're really connected to this right now, and it's yeah, it's exciting, right? It's definitely exciting to be able to work on stuff like this, and we're trying to solve, I think, big problems. But yeah, okay, we've got about 6 minutes left, and I want to leave some time for Faye to come up and announce the winner of the Quest 3, who is in the room, by the way. Going to drop that in there as a little bit of hype. Whoever it is, we're all going to get to do that thing where we crowd around them and give them a big hug, right? So it could be anybody. I'm just gonna do that, so everybody thinks I'm pointing at them. Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, let's see, Kage. Let's go quickly. What can I do you for?
Have the docs on Banter VR been tested to see if they're like compatible for us to start building stuff in 22339F just now?
So if you're talking about the new docs, those are a work in progress. If you're talking about the ones on bantervr.com, those are technically legacy documentation that's about to get replaced. So I have to apologize. A lot of things are moving very quickly, so some things are in flux. So in terms of what's tested, I mean, if something's broken, let us know. That's as much as I can tell you. As far as it's concerned right now, we use an extensive test space that tests almost every single feature in the documentation on the website, right? Some of you may have seen it. I think it's called sq-smoke.glitch.me, right? It's what we call a smoke test. Just before we put out a release, we intensively test it to make sure we haven't broken any of the legacy stuff. So we do that, but if something has slipped through the cracks and somehow we've managed to break something, please let us know. There were some things that were deprecated, right? It's about 8 weeks ago now, we rolled out an entirely new core game build with a whole new SDK, but within that, it had support for the legacy SDK as well. We made sure it was backwards compatible. But if something is broken, just drop a ticket into the Discord or into any of the channels, and we'll be happy to look into it.
That's amazing. Thanks, Shane.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see, Discord Kitty, what can I do you for?
Just really quickly, because I know you have other stuff to do. Is there any chance that we could at some point get some sort of like a hands-up system or something? Like we're talking about putting in a buzzer system for one thing, but it's really hard to get people to jump and 100% accurately call who actually jumped first. So that would be helpful.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yes, no, I get what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. Totally recognize it. I feel like it's probably one of the glaring obvious things that we're missing when it comes to kind of managing events, right? It's that event host panel. What I can tell you is that the new menu really brings that together under, I guess, what you would call the people here right now. And it's got everything there, right? You can do all the stuff you could do in socket debug. It's all in there under one place. You can do all of your moderation. You've got access to mute somebody for everyone. It's all super easy to access in there. And I think that's the perfect place for us to adapt a feature like that. It's definitely on the roadmap. I don't know exactly when it's going to land right now, but it is something I can guarantee you that is important. And I think I could say safely probably before launch anyway.
Awesome, thank you. Static was saying that to me earlier, and I just stole his idea and ran up here with it.
Nice. Brilliant. Okay, Diane, one last question. Go ahead.
Oh.
Well, do you have a
I
question,
didn't
or
have
were
a
you
question.
just happened to be standing there? I got you.
I
I thought
just
you were in a
happened to be.
queue.
Is this the wrong spot?
Ah, that's cool.
The
That's
Barbie,
okay.
the Barbie box appears and disappears and is gone now, and I feel some type of way because I liked being inside the. And was the Barbie box a person or was it an actual box? Because I couldn't tell.
It was a person. That was an
It
avatar, as far
was.
as I know.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh! I was inside a person.
Yeah, that's right.
There was no consent.
That's right. Oh no, there wasn't.
We have to get married. We have
Okay.
to get married now. I'm probably pregnant. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Well, look, I'll tell you what. Snowstorm, have you got a question? You're actually standing in the question
Yeah.
spot, but you do. Go ahead.
All right. So it's been a while since I've been active in Banter. It was like
Gotcha.
around the time when you were doing all the Quest 3 giveaways.
Gotcha.
And I noticed, in the months since I played, it doesn't seem like Banter's like grown much, if any,
Sure.
since then. If anything, seems like maybe less active. And I guess I
Gotcha.
was wondering about like, what's your long-term plans for Banter? Like, are you just fine with it being a smaller place, or do you want it to, compete with the likes of VR chat, or like what are you even wanting to do with
Great.
Banter?
Okay. First off, fantastic question to ask at the very end of the event. Really beautiful, open-ended question that's going to keep me here for another 10 minutes. Folks, if anybody wants somebody to blame as to why I can't tell you who's won the quest yet, it's Snowstorm. You can jump all over Snowstorm. Snowstorm was here the last time when we were giving away stuff, and now Snowstorm has come back, right? Because we're giving away more stuff. Snowstorm is the ideal type of person. I think that's probably a good place to start when it comes to why things were more active then versus now. I think what you're maybe referring to is at the time we were doing here's a quest 3 every week, and we were doing a lot of promotion. We were working with a lot of influencers to try and get as much activity around the platform in the early days as we possibly could. And you're absolutely right. For the last little while, we've kind of been in build mode, because really what we discovered off the back of that was that we got a lot of people interested, but not a whole lot of them stuck around, right? And for us, it was about poor onboarding, poor UI, and poor user experience in general, right? So what we decided to do was to kind of get our heads down, try and polish things up a little bit. And we do have a lot of things in the works. A lot of them just haven't quite landed yet, but we're weeks away at this point and have been working on things for months and months and months to try and get it perfect. And then the plan is to ramp up our marketing effort again and take another good old college try at this sort of thing. I mean, as far as we're concerned, anything we can do to grow the platform, we're going to try and do, right? We're not interested in just keeping it a small community. We want it to explode into as big as we possibly can, right? But it's a difficult thing to do. It's a really difficult thing to remain relevant in any sense, right? There's some games in VR that have massive landings, let's say Zenith, right? That sort of just fade out because they don't really have much going on. But I think even though our community is moderate, let's say right now, even mild, I think what we've got is a loyal community, right? And a growing community, even if it is small growth right now. That growth is actually quite important because it's organic, right? It's not something that's being driven off us pumping lots into marketing and promotion. But the hope is that we can amplify that organic growth and really explode that as best we can. And for us, it's about having a much better experience the first time you come to Banter, especially, right? So the people are excited to come back. And it's about having support for pretty awesome features like full body tracking, like hand tracking, like all sorts of cool things. And yeah, I mean, it's about getting games onto the platform as well, right? So that's been a big part of this year. About 8 weeks ago, we released an entirely written from scratch, brand new SDK. And yeah, it's all of these things. But like I've said to everybody else, if you've got any ideas, I'd love to hear them. If you're here for the giveaways, I get it, right? That's a big deal. But if you do stick around and you've got any thoughts on how we can improve, I hope you let us know. And for us, one of the biggest things is about about trying to squeeze every last little bit of performance out of this that we can, and also about giving people really cool avatars and lots of capability when it comes to
Oh yes.
creating spaces, right? So those are our
Speaking of performance, one thing I
Sure.
find very lacking is there's no performance options. When I'm playing on
Gotcha.
my PC with a 3070, that has no
Yes.
problem running the game at 500 FPS. I would really
Sure.
like to be able to turn up at very minimum, turn up like the level of detail distance.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, that's something we've been working on internally, and yeah, it's something that I think we'd love to work into the new menu system that I guess we're working on, right? Right now, investing a lot of time into building out vast UIs to give you all those options in our existing menu is just delaying and taking away from the new menu, which honestly is going to be a whole lot better for that kind of thing. I've even got maybe a handheld quick menu kind of thing that might allow you to change certain settings, right? Might not be that sort of stuff. But I think it applies to PC VR as much as it applies to 2D mode on PC. So you're absolutely right. You're definitely right. It's also something that I think space creators can start to think about more in the future, right? Each space is individually built for Android and for PC, which means your PC version could have a higher fidelity. I mean, as I say all of this, I do want to point out the standalone VR market is by far the largest, and that's kind of where we're coming from with this. We want that to be our lowest common denominator, and I think for us anyway, to start there and then build up is going to be much easier than to start high end and try to reverse engineer it back onto Quest. I think that's been really difficult for
Yeah.
even the biggest players to be able to do that. But no, appreciate your sentiment. Thank you so much, Snowstorm. I'm just going to keep going here. It's kind of like a filibuster at this point. See how long I go until everybody gets pissed off and they all pounce on you. I'm only joking. Welcome back. It's good to see you.
Trying to choke you? Trying to choke him? Get him! Get him!
Okay. Let's see. Faye,
Get
you
'em.
want to come up and do the announcement? It's usually tradition that you do it.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Discord.
All right. Woo, here we go. So, guys, the
Wait, she's not
winner.
megaphoned. Megaphone.
I will megaphone myself. Okay, here we go. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, guys, the winner of the Quest 3 is in this room right now. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at you. Yes. The
Follow the
person
eyeballs,
who
guys.
won is not looking at me. The person who
That's
won
right.
is not looking at me right now. They're not looking at me. Do you know who you are?
It's not me.
Right
I've
now,
already
at this
won.
moment,
It's
you're
you.
not looking at me. Oh, warmer. No, you're looking at me. Barry, congratulations, Barry, you won our Quest 3.
Oh no! Immediately signs out. He's down here. He's down here. Get him. Okay, he's freaking out.
Everybody,
He's freaking
get
out.
him!
Social anxiety is through the roof. Oh god.
Pun intended.
Yeah,
Oh.
46 of us
He
in
did.
here. That's crazy, guys. That's nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, congratulations. Stay tuned. There'll be another Quest
Yay.
giveaway very soon, so hang tight to get more information about that. And otherwise, yeah, I have to jump out myself. I realize you might have another question, Trey, but feel free to hit me up on Discord if you want
Okay.
to. And yeah,
Okay.
we've got let's see some more cool events coming up. Let's see. We've got story time. Sorry, the written word, poetry and stories with Divine in about an hour's time, about 50 minutes, and an hour after that, we've got hide and spook.
Walking up there.
So yeah, enjoy that. Thanks very much, guys. We do this once a week. Hey Barry, you want to come up here? You want to stand up on the podium as the winner? Go ahead, Barry. Come on,
I
man.
just want to say thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and
Yeah, no problem.
I'll be looking for a way that I can regift that in the
That's awesome.
in the coming weeks. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, find
You're
someone
awesome.
that would really like it, right? I always love to
I
see
will.
new people dragged
I
into
will.
VR, kicking and
Absolutely.
screaming, whatever they like it or not,
Thank you.
right? Make it real awkward. Give them, and then they feel forced to have to come in, and then they eventually just end up liking it by accident. That's the way we do it, folks. That's how we push it. And we need to do better with French people. Remember that.
Yeah.
Everybody remember that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to jump out. Trey, send me a message on Discord if you've got another question. Happy to answer.
Okay.
I have a question
And,
too.
Okay.
for the rest of you, thank you very much. I'll see you
Bye.
soon. Enjoy the rest of your
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Oh.
Thank you.
See you later.
Will do.
I
Hola.
saw
Hey,
some
Kate.
a lady from
Yeah.
Syria yesterday.
How you doing?